Hi everyone, today I'm going to show you how I conceal my under eye circles because I've done a video about foundation but in that I didn't include the under eyes. So I'm just going to show you how I do it because I think mine are really bad and this camera is like the way the light is now, it's not showing how bad they are, but I've taken a picture which I'll insert here or at the beginning or somewhere that you can really see how bad they are because they are really quite dark. So I use quite a lot of products and obviously you don't have to do this. This is probably, if you think yours are really bad, you might want to do the same, but if yours aren't that bad, you can take out a few steps and just adapt it to yourself. And I'm also going to show you some of my favourite concealers at the minute. So if you want to find out how I conceal my under eye circles, then just carry on watching. Okay, so I've got 4 of my favourite concealers here, and I'm going to mention another one which I don't have with me at the minute, but I know it's really good, I really like it. So the first one is quite a new one, it's the Maybelline FitMe concealers, and these are really pigmented. They're really smooth and creamy. They don't crease too much. You do have to set them with a powder, but I set any concealer with a powder anyway, so that don't really matter. But the shades are really good as well. This is the lightest shade, and yeah, they're just really pigmented. You don't need a lot of it, and I really like this. The next one is Boi-ing by Benefit. This is a really good concealer, but if you don't like the, what do you call this? It's not a liquid concealer, it's more of like a cream concealer. If you don't like these, you might not want to go for this. This is just a creamy concealer, and as you can see, this is quite dark for me, so I actually use this as a colour corrector sometimes, depending on what my skin's like and that. But I think I'm going to buy the lightest shade soon because I really like this. The next one is the Sandler Hide It Concealer, but the labels come off this. And this is a light reflective pen concealer. And this is in the shade 1, and this is the lightest one. But this it doesn't give too much coverage. I won't wear it on its own, but just to highlight under my eyes, it's really good because I'm quite fair. I find it hard to find concealers that are light enough to highlight, because the MAC one doesn't. So I put this on top of my MAC one and then I get the nice bright look under my eyes. So the next one is my MAC Prolong wear, and I wear this every day. It's my absolute favourite. It gives the fullest amount of coverage I've ever used with a concealer. I always keep it stood up because it's annoying that it's got the pump. It'd be so much easier if it had like a doe foot applicator, but I always keep it stood up in my lipstick stand so you can see how much you've got left in that. But that's another one. And then the last one, which I don't have with me at the minute, is the Collection 2000 Lasting Perfection Concealer. That is concealer's really full coverage. It comes in quite a lot of good shades. The lightest one fits me well, which is quite unusual. It's really cheap. I think it's about £4. And yeah, I just really like that concealer. So those are my favourite concealers. So now I'll show you how I conceal my under eyes. Okay, so I'll always do my concealer after my foundation. Some people prefer to do it before, but I like to do it after. And I'll always do it after I've done the eyeshadow on my upper lid. I don't usually put on my eyelashes and mascara before, but I thought I'd look a bit weird without that on. So I'll do my eyeshadow, do my concealer, and then go ahead and put some eyeshadow on the lower lash line. So the first thing I'll always do is use a colour corrector, and this is my Graftobian palette. And the colour correctors I use are these two here, and occasionally I'll put a bit of pink in, but most of the time it's just the yellow and the orange. The orange, if you can see on the back, this soft orange is a blue neutraliser, and the yellow highlight cancels deep red and purple. So I use those two under my eyes, and I just use it with my finger. So I take a bit of orange and focus them mainly on the inner corners, and then just kind of pat them out. And then just right on top of it I'll use a bit of the yellow just to brighten it back up again, because obviously the orange is a bit darker. And I do take it in the V shape under my eye, because sometimes I need a bit of extra coverage on my cheek anyway, so instead of putting more foundation there, I'll just go in with my concealer. And you can see already that the yellow's had a good effect on the under eye. Next thing I do is apply my MAC concealer. So I take a pump on my finger and kind of push my 2 ring fingers together, pop that under my eyes like that, and then I'll blend it in with a damp beauty blender. And I take that across my nose too, just to add a bit more coverage there. Okay, and you can see that's covered the darkness quite well. These lines, they're just more of bags and dark circles. So things you can do to get rid of the actual bags of them, you can, you know, cucumber, a wet flannel, stuff like that, just to reduce puffiness. So that's what those lines are that you can still see. And then I'll just go in with my Daniel Sandler Hide It Concealer. You can see how light that is. And this just gives me a nice highlight. And I'll also take that kind of through the centre of my face, just for a highlight. And again, blend that in with my beauty blender. Okay, so once I've popped all the concealer on, I'm just going to set that. And this is the M&S Loose Powder. But what I've actually done is I've actually put a bit of Ben Nye banana powder in with this. Not much, because sometimes it's too dark for me. But this was quite a pinky powder, so I've added just a little bit of Ben Nye, and you can see it's gone a bit more yellow. And I will blend this in with my beauty blender as well. Sometimes if I'm going out, I've noticed that this powder does have flashback, and so does the Daniel Sandler concealer. So when I'm going out, I'll tend not to use them, and I'd rather set it with my powder foundation, because then it gives me the extra bit of coverage from the Daniel Sandler concealer and still sets it, and that doesn't give any flashback. And if you don't know what that is, basically if I took a picture now with flash, my under eyes would be really white. I think I do have a picture of it, because I only sussed it out that they flashed back not that long ago, so I'll put a picture in a second. When I've been out and come back, looked at the pictures, and I've got white lines underneath my eyes, and this is how it ends up looking. So you can see it's really bright. I've concealed most of the darkness under my eyes. Again, I know this is a lot of product, but I find this is the best way for me to cover up under my eyes. I've been doing this method for about a year now, and I've tried other concealers, but nothing seems to do the job as good as my MAC Prolong and my Graftobian colour corrector palette. I always use those two together. So I hope you found this video helpful. I hope it gave you some tips if you were unsure about how to conceal your under eyes as good. And thank you for watching.